Welcome to the Religiously Offensive Podcast.
Howdy, howdy. Welcome back.
I always want to play that, like, is it Mace? That Mace song, like, welcome back. Welcome
Not
back.
familiar.
You should have told me.
Really?
I would have had it queued up.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a dope song.
Believe you.
Is it called Welcome Back?
I think so. By Mace, I want to say.
Makes a lot of sense.
I feel like we've talked about this.
So how's everyone been since
Accurate.
last pod? I see you got your Posty cup. I love that.
Sure do.
Where are you at, Gab? You're not representing?
No.
You still don't want to use it?
Well, it's just a big cup. I'll use it at home probably because I have like my big cup for my water and this cup for my coffee.
What do you think the size of that is compared to that? Probably not that
That's
much
probably
bigger,
like-
right?
Oh, it's got to be
What?
like half.
That's probably like what, 16 to 20 ounces?
It's a
and that's
girthy
probably
boy.
32 ounces.
I'm just way off. So,
What'd you think?
I mean, I knew it was bigger, but I'm just like, is it that much bigger?
Look at that from the base, bro. Look at that girth from the base.
Probably is. Yeah, it does.
Not the girth.
It's a nice cankle right there.
That's circumference,
It's
dude.
giving girth.
Speaking of, dude, I was at Disney the other day. I've never seen cankles like this. I mean, obviously, huge legs first.
Talking like gout ankles or like just
Yeah,
genetics?
maybe. Well, she was, she was of,
Plus size?
of a large proportion, and she basically like probably the bad way to say that, but
Large proportion.
it doesn't even make sense. But it looked like straight up like it looked like you put like massive hot dogs in a tiny pair of shoes is what it looked like. You know what I mean?
I was like kind of
Straight
over.
down. It
What
was
if she has a
crazy.
health issue?
I guarantee she has health issues.
Not diabetes.
No, I mean, hey,
I guarantee.
yeah.
I don't know why when you said the hot dog thing, it made me think of this. Have you seen those videos where they make like glizzy burgers?
Excuse me?
No.
They take hot dogs and just like slice them right down. Like you leave the ends intact and then you just make a slice all the way through, like an inch in on each side. And then it like opens up this like pocket and then you stuff a bunch of like ground beef in there and then you like cook them up and then you just,
I
it's
don't
like,
like
it's a
that.
glizzy burger.
I love how we're talking about glizzies and Justin figures out a way to make this shape with his hands. He's just
Exactly
like, you
what
just
it
do
does.
this.
And you put the meat right in there.
Okay. Moving on.
All right,
Yeah. There's a good reason why they're popular.
yeah, you can't both drink at the same time, then no one's talking. All right. Anyway, Justin, what do you got for us? What have you been studying in the book of Justin lately?
The Book of Justin.
Just a lot of the polymath stuff. So just
I don't know
learning
what that is.
from-
What is that?
It's I think it technically translates to like many learnings. So where a lot of people will find like a seed of truth, they tend to like latch onto it and then just go super hard in that direction. And then if you're not careful, it can lead you to being like more closed-minded to like other opinions or other science or, other stuff. So it's kind of, taking everything with a grain of salt. Because for me, it's really about listening and just taking information in and then trusting that when I sit with it, like in stillness and quiet, then I just trust whatever that small internal kind of quiet voice within, whatever that is, to kind of just like be the radar and the detector to figure out, what makes sense, what doesn't, and what, what's even worth. I don't know.
It's almost like a fancy way of saying like being stubborn. You just get these ideas in your head and you're just like, this is the way, and that's it.
Yeah. So I think it's a balance of like that stubbornness of like, I'm stubborn in the sense of I'm determined to be open-minded, regardless of what other people around me might think. But when it goes in the actual pursuit of truth or knowledge or information, it's just trying to be humble and understand that like I don't know everything. So it's like all religion is just like our attempt to explain the divine. And it's like we are so dumb compared to the divine. So it's like this infinite intelligence or creator. So it's like almost, yeah, it's almost like funny to me that we think that like, that we think we can figure it out. And then just, because I think the challenge is it's like once you get to that place where you feel like you figured it out, then you just kind of shift into more of a closed-minded and you stop opening yourself up and learning. And you kind of just, and I mean, if that works for you, great.
So to bring the angle back even further, you could argue that being of this mindset that everything's open, right? You could go so far into that belief that you start thinking that nothing is, I should say, like solid or defined. Mm-hmm. Which there's like those people out there, right, that are just like loopy and just like anything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They just go with the wind. So it's like, as humans, it's like weird because I agree. Like I like being open-minded about stuff, but at some point it's kind of like there are certain things it's kind of like good to be closed-minded about, like the basics, you know, like physics and
like gravity.
Yeah, we always use that great example, but it's a good one. Gravity. It's like
right
to be open-minded about how the basics of gravity work here on Earth. It's kind of like it's kind of a waste of time, you know.
Well, I think that's the challenge. It's like. I think the word that comes to my mind is like wisdom. It's like knowing where to stay open-minded and where to kind of be more stubborn or closed-minded, for sure.
Yeah. Gabby, what are you stubborn about?
Everything.
That's the correct answer.
Appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, that's great. Is there anything like, so if I were to ask Rachel, what's the biggest thing Gabby just is stubborn about? She puts her foot down, no like negotiation.
I don't know. She'd probably agree with me.
Disc golf.
She'd be like, there's nothing. It's like in a nervous voice.
Yeah.
She's great.
I'm staring at her wide-eyed.
Yeah. What are you about to say?
Don't you dare.
That's funny.
Yeah. You know, I heard of this thing. My mom told me about this thing. Like, you know, Tony Robbins, they're doing like he did a program with Matthew McConaughey or something like that. Did you hear about that? Mm-mm. Apparently there's some kind of thing that they had going on.
Is it like...
I was hoping you'd heard of it. So I guess it's the end of that conversation.
Is it connected like his new book, that like Green Lights?
Green Lights, yeah, it is.
Is that new?
No, I mean...
Relatively,
it's I mean, the last few years, I guess. But it was... yeah, she was telling me about it. So we don't have to talk about that anymore.
Did you read that book? It used to be in your office, right?
Uh-huh. You know how many books I've bought and never finished? All of them.
Bro, I've read so many first chapters.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then I'm just like, I'm just going to read the back and see if...
That's the problem. You know how...
Get the audio
I need to do this.
version.
You know how I equate it to like, you know how I told you about the diet thing and how like if you eat like the salad and then like when you get to like the meal, don't eat the fries first, even though for me it's tempting because I hate cold fries and I won't eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's all the like, so you should eat the protein first, the good stuff, right? So I started doing that and then I won't really want the fries. And I'm like, in the book, it's like, you're going to read an introduction and the foreword because it's there. I've just started skipping it, just going right to chapter 1, like, right? Because
I
it's
never read the...
I know I probably won't finish this thing, so I may as well just get into it.
I never read the intros.
I'll read an intro sometimes if it's not too long. The forewords, yeah, I don't really care to read because it's just some other dude that's supposed to be popular that's just hyping up the author, and you're just like, well, I already bought the book. Dude.
Does it have to be a dude though?
Yeah, wow.
Women can be dudes.
Pretty insensitive. Well, that's true.
Ever seen Good Burger?
I'm a dude. She's a dude.
Stupid.
He's a dude.
Because we're all dudes.
Did you see that, Gabby?
Yeah.
Did you see it on an orange Nickelodeon VHS?
I don't know.
You remember
not.
those?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were like the coolest tapes.
Yeah.
I definitely had the Rugrats movie.
Rugrats was also
on that,
one.
Yeah, Rugrats. We didn't actually have Good Burger. A friend had it. And then we had, what was it, Madeline or something on the orange VHS. That was
Matilda?
the best. Matilda, that was it.
Yeah,
Madeline.
I was like, Madeline.
Yeah, that one, you know.
I was lost in
Madeline
Madeline.
sounds like some like
It was close enough.
psycho
Justin
got
got it.
crazy child.
I just can't believe you said Madeline. Who doesn't know Matilda? It's all right. We're going to let it go.
Thank you. Thank you for not making me say these things on air that I don't want to say.
I haven't watched Matilda in a long time, but I just feel like if I were to watch it again, I'd just be like, this is mad creepy, dude.
Did they make a new one recently?
It's like, why this
Matilda?
headmaster got like this torture
but
chamber
kids
in
are
her office.
Dude, you know what's funny?
Know.
I don't think creepy even phases kids anymore. Have you seen some of the stuff on YouTube kids watch? Like, the animation that just makes you feel uncomfortable.
It's weird.
They're just like, what is this? And then the kids are like, see, isn't this funny? I'm like, no, I'm unsettled. I want to go throw up.
Dude, I watched this little clip and it was one of those like conspiracy clips about Disney and how like if you reflect Disney upside down, like from the bottom,
it's like devil or
it
something.
spells wicked.
It's pretty
and
cool.
Then and there's this like old Disney clip of Mickey making Swiss cheese. Dude's got a straight up boner and he's just banging
Mickey?
cheese. Oh yeah, look up the clip. It's disturbing.
I'm looking at it.
And it's from like old school Disney.
But
what would you recommend searching? Mickey
makes
banging
Swiss cheese.
Swiss? Okay.
Mickey makes Swiss cheese.
Mickey.
And I mean, they're not even hiding it. It's just like he's just
Mickey boner Swiss. Yeah.
I'll turn the volume off.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
You're just like watching. You're like,
Give her all the.
Oh my God.
Is it a thing?
Oh yeah.
mm-hmm.
He's doing the cheese. He's putting the holes in the Swiss cheese.
That's what I'm saying. With the
No, he's not.
with the you know
Yeah.
what? Oh yeah, dude.
You see
I'm
it?
telling you, these are dark rabbit holes, man. And Walt Disney was also with 33.
Look at his cheeks. He's like, ooh, ooh.
Okay. Is he wearing like a belt that just has a thing on it?
It doesn't look like a
Bro,
belt.
That's
And why is his face doing that then too?
Okay. Hold on.
that's a pecker.
Is this like a for real old thing?
I've seen it a bunch of
Oh my
places.
God.
Or is it like something
'cause
someone made?
That would like predate.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how someone could just make something like that as kind of like a smear?
Well, that's the hard part about anything these
Video.
days is like deep fakes and stuff.
Yeah, how do you
I've
know-
seen that a bunch of places.
How do you know they didn't just go to some video AI and was like, hey, Mickey pecking holes in cheese with his pecker?
It's fair. Well, that's the hard part. You know, I mean, nothing's real anymore because the deep fakes, you can make everything look so
That's
real.
the weirdest.
A lot of the comments say Mickey's wicked.
Dude,
Telling
that's
you,
the
bro.
weirdest thing ever.
It's a creepy rabbit hole. Just stay away.
Just stay away.
Dang.
It's wild.
That's
And
hilarious.
Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Freemason, which is like the highest level.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
Dude, if I was like the head of that group, I'd be like, hey, you get an honorary 33 degree right there. You know?
Honorary.
No, because it's like, hey, how good does it look? Oh, yeah, Walt's with us. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the brotherhood.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if his ascension predates Disney or.
Do you think his
postdates.
body is frozen underneath?
A Masonic temple? Yes.
Walt?
Maybe.
Yeah. He froze his body underneath Disney World.
I don't think that's.
I bet they
I think
did
they
something weird
disproved
with it.
that though.
Dang.
Well,
That's too bad.
Someone said they disproved it.
Yeah.
You never know.
See the receipts.
They do have that underground tunnel system.
I just don't trust.
How do you know
anyone
there's not
anymore.
like a little wooden door that says Walt Disney is frozen inside here?
I doubt it would have like a sign on it that said that.
Probably not, yeah. Or maybe a sign that you can only see with a black light or like invisible ink or something,
Probably buried
put
him with some Swiss
a
cheese?
lighter up.
It smelled real bad down there.
Yeah, the original inspiration for that whole thing. That is I'm still.
That's nuts.
I can't
yeah.
get over that.
I'm stuck
cartoon.
on that. I'm gonna send that to Rachel.
Get the word out. He's a pervert.
Put it on Instagram.
You should bring awareness.
Did you see anything, or have you seen the?
I know people listening to this that will Google that like right now and just
Mickey
be like, "You gotta be
making
kidding."
Swiss cheese.
That's what it's called.
Yep, do it. I mean, don't do that, but
Don't do
watch
it. Man, I'm trying to think
It's
of.
also not even plausible. There's no way you're.
I'm trying to think
That
of.
ain't real.
I'm trying to think of a cheese soft enough that would work with.
Brie,
Yeah, maybe.
like
Brie-
fresh out the oven.
Brisa. Or like like fresh mozzarella. That's soft.
But you would need like a rock hard, thing going on.
Or a lot of fours. Let's move on from this one too. Yeah.
It's wild. I apologize for getting us into the weeds.
Getting us into the cheese.
Dick sand.
Rachel said she's seen that. That's
She's
funny.
seen it? She's never showed you?
I know. Yeah. I feel disrespected.
Yeah, that's so disrespectful.
That's crazy.
How would you not show that to someone if you saw it? I'm showing it to Christina as soon as I get home. Yeah. So, what did we talk about last time? Because I feel like we were in a groove because last time we recorded pretty long.
Yeah, it did
Too
go over
long.
an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that one thing you sent me, that 3 hour, the thing you were just listening to Duncan.
Oh, Duncan on the Joe Rogan.
Yeah. What was that little clip that you had me listen to?
Yeah, because they were basically like, if you're familiar with these guys, Duncan, is it Robinson, right?
Duncan Trussell.
Duncan
Trussell,
Robinson plays for the Heat.
Yep. Sorry.
I was like, close.
I lost his last name for a second. It was the first thing that came to my mind. So yeah, Duncan Trussell.
You said it with such conviction. I was like, am I wrong?
That was like the only word in my brain. I was like, Robinson? So yeah,
Duncan?
for Rogan's 2000th episode, he had Duncan Trussell on. And if anyone's familiar with those guys, they're kind of more experimental when it comes to like plant medicines and mushrooms and all that kind of stuff. So somehow they got on the topic of mushrooms, and then Duncan went on this like,
Go ahead.
so Duncan goes on this little like tangent.
Keep going.
I don't know if this is helpful.
That's funny. It's helpful for the people listening. They don't know that I'm looking.
What is it?
Yeah.
No, it's just Rachel
I
responding.
didn't want to interrupt you. I interrupted you anyways.
No, you're good.
Go ahead, read it. What did she say?
No, I told her, I was like, you never showed me the video of Mickey? Like, why? That's not right. She said, I didn't think you would think it was funny. It was a couple weeks ago. I was like, well, you don't even know me. Like, I thought you knew me then. Just call off the engagement.
Oh, dang.
Oh, shoot. No.
The ripple.
How bad?
Anyways, Duncan, not Robinson.
There's still flies in this
Duncan
coffee.
Robinson, Duncan
No.
Trussell. It's just protein, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Take it to the dome.
I think, aren't they trying to make food out of bugs now?
Fly-free coffee? Yeah, I hope so.
Would surprise me if you're getting.
No, dude. I mean,
Looking
you look
at Bill
at
Gates.
No, all these shows that you see, like people going out into other countries, like what was it, Vietnam or something like that? They eat like tarantulas, they eat crickets, they eat like
Grasshoppers,
those duck eggs that are like basically there's an
Caterpillars.
embryo in there.
Yeah.
Nope.
Crazy.
Ugh.
First of all, how do you catch that many insects? That's impressive. Second of all, it's gross.
I don't love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Anyways, Justin.
Sorry about that. Duncan.
So they kind of got on the topic of psychedelics and little mushrooms and stuff like that. They're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
And then Duncan Trussell goes on this little tangent that was actually really insightful. And he basically talks about how, like, before you even like get to the mushrooms or anything, like on that level that could also ultimately be like mind altering, or where it like kind of leads to like potentially other dimensions where you're kind of seeing stuff that you don't normally see or thinking things you don't normally think. He was talking about
because he also just so people understand, like, I mean, if you're not familiar with Duncan Trussell, it's he does like believe in God and stuff. I mean, maybe not like Christian God.
he believes in
he
like
believes in
a higher
God.
power. And
Yeah, right.
infinite
He calls it
intelligence
God
or
all the
whatever.
time, and he talks
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
a lot too, and the Bible and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, go ahead.
So basically, he goes on this little kind of spiel about how, like, before you get to that point of like considering opening your mind to like whatever comes on the other side of, psilocybin or one of those sort of journeys, he talks about how he references the concept of like, do not have or make for yourself like another idol, like from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And at first he was like confused because he was like, what's the big deal? Like, why would the infinite, all loving God care if we're throwing flowers at a cow? Like, why does it matter?
Yeah.
And he was like, the more I sat with it and the older I've gotten.
Yeah, because I've heard that too, where like people will say, "What is this, God insecure or something?"
Mhm.
Yeah,
And what he's saying is basically what he believes that like essentially is like meaning or what he believes it means at this point in his life is like, don't let anyone else trick you into believing that like they're God or that like they have a better line to God than you. Like, don't listen to like a middleman who says like, I can sell you God. It's like, get to God through me. Like the whole point was like, don't have idols. It's not like so much of a corporate thing for like a nation, but it's like an individual thing in terms of like, don't ever let anyone trick you into thinking that like they have a better line of access to God than you do, or that you can. Mm-hmm. I think that's a lot of the issues we see in religion and, you know, churches today. It's like, it goes back to that like secondary revelation type of experience where it's like, you're basically digesting a meal that some other person has already eaten, like spiritually.
Yeah. I just talked about this the other day, Christina, because I've had that issue it's just, there's too many people, as much as they try not to make it this way, there's too many people that are just like, oh man, I got to get into church next week and get fed or get this or that. And it's just like that whole, like, get fed, that whole idea is just like, you're already going there thinking that you're depending on someone to feed you, like spoon feed you. Right?
Well, cause boil that down to like, what are you really saying is like, maybe it's not necessarily I'm too lazy or I'm too unmotivated or I'm not inspired enough to like actually figure it out for myself. So I just want to go listen to this dude who's devoted his life to it so I can get, you know, the 30-minute version and kind of feel like I kind of got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like that term, just going back to that term, it's just like, I don't know where that even started. The whole
it's
like
just consumerism, man. Well,
yeah, it's just like, cause you're treating church like a business that you need to get something out of.
Like you're investing 30 minutes of your time. Yeah. It's just transaction.
You know who would have been a good pastor? JFK.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what your church can do for you, but what you can do for your church.
Right.
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 Like that would have been that's the mentality people should have.
Right. Well, I think, and we've talked about this topic many times, but I think it goes back to that whole concept of like, when you make the Sunday morning experience about the visitor and not about the family and the community, then you're going to inevitably exploit the community in the hopes of attracting visitors. Yeah. Right. And so what's the end goal? Do you want more butts and seats? Cause that translates to more tithes and givings. So you can have a bigger budget, get a bigger building. Like it's like, once you just get into that territory, it's like, it becomes very difficult to discern like motives and intention. Cause it's like, you know, just as much as it's important for us to not think that we need a middleman to get to God, it's equally as challenging for someone that's in that position that, growing up in it, you know, I'm used to all the lingo. Like I was called into the ministry at summer camp 2002. Like you pinpoint it to a date and then you just like, I don't know how a natural person or normal person would go through that and not start to like latch on to like the narcissistic tendencies that would come to that. So I think that's part of the challenge when you read a lot of the religious texts. It's like you always have like the nation and then the priests and the leaders. So it's like we naturally believe that like God just chooses certain people. And then that means some people are more important than others. Or you create this hierarchy. And it's like, I understand why we do that because we're human and that makes sense.
There's a lot of narcissists in church. Leadership level, a lot. Dealt with a lot, continue to deal with a lot.
Well, because I don't even blame them. They come from conditioning and like an upbringing that tells them like you're special because you were chosen and God called you to do this. So now you're going to lead these people, these sheep.
I will say, it's not everybody. There are some people who are very genuine about, and that's clear. Like it's usually, but you can typically point people out or pretty quick. Like, oh, okay, is this guy a narcissist? Yeah, clearly.
Well, it's just tough because it's very rare that you would hear like a head pastor or lead pastor really talk from that position of like humility where he's actually saying like, I'm no different than any of you. I have just prioritized this in my life to the point that that's all I want to do. But it's like any of you can do what I'm doing. Like I'm not special. Like there's a poem, I think it was William Ernest Henley called Invictus. In the last couple lines, he basically says like, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And like, when I think about stuff like that, it's like, I think religion often can lead people into this place of like, because God's in control, it's like, it just a lot of time people will move into this place where they just absolve themselves of like their responsibility in like pursuing like their dreams and their fate. And we just think that like God has just chosen it for us. So it's like whatever is just is and whatever. Like there's nothing I can do about it. But it's like the more I think about it, I'm like, no, we all have this like sense of the divine within us. And there's countless stories of people who have just decided to like, but draw the line in the sand and take action. And I mean, they accomplish incredible things. And I mean, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it happens pretty quick.
It's like, I mean, like floating down a river. You just jump in. Eventually it'll take you there. You could also swim. Like, it doesn't matter. You get to the same place. Like, I feel like it doesn't, I also, I mean, growing up around a lot of people like in youth group who I know aren't doing ministry now, but always said at camp, like, oh, I've been called. And it's like, were you really? Yeah. Let's peel back the layers and see how real this is, so.
Yeah. Well, it's any other community. It's like being on a sports team, it's like we all pick captains for our teams once you get into like, varsity or, high school, college level stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, that translates to the spiritual community. You're just on a different team. And so it's like your captains are like the few people who are like, God has called me to do this for the rest of my life. So it's like you're trying to assume a leadership position within the community. And again, I mean, who knows? I'm not coming at anyone's like intentions or motives, but
I'm going to come. Sorry. I need to put that on one of these buttons.
Yeah. We don't even use those buttons.
I know.
We can refresh them.
Because Christina said they were annoying. So I gotta get maybe I overdid it.
Yeah, maybe.
So I need to put Trump on this one and Kamala on this one. Just do not come.
Do not come.
I'm going to come. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you there. But I wonder, like I was thinking as you were talking, like I wonder if there's, and I've been trying not to interrupt you as much today. Am I doing okay?
Great job, JJ.
Thank you. Should like pay attention. That was an auto response and I could tell. So I wonder if there's a correlation between people who are in that, like, I've been chosen, I'm special, and they act helpless to the call, right? And just follow it. How they end up as a person who's in, a ministry leader position, right? And then compared to someone who maybe got the call, but went on their own journey, didn't necessarily, but like ended up coming back or whatever, or kind of like basically felt it out for themselves, figured out who they are, and found their way into ministry or maybe they weren't called and they found their way into ministry after like living life, right? And doing some stuff. I wonder if there's a correlation between that first person and the second person, right? Because I have a feeling, a gut feeling, and that first person is likely that person that is that narcissist that feels like they've been told their whole life they're special, all that stuff.
Or someone gives them a prophecy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then part of the culture.
And then the second person is like the guy who's like, hey man, I've screwed up. Because then that first person, he may go his whole life without really making any huge, what the world would consider big mistakes, right? Like, and so like they may seem spotless. And so like they're all like absorbed. I mean, I can think of examples of people in my head. That's why I'm, of who I know followed the path all the way from.
Or even like those same people, like if they ever do find themselves like the people who kind of just try to get it early and run with it and try to be like the prodigies.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's like a lot of times you end up with people like that who end up having these challenges or failures, and often because their whole life is basically their reputation, it's like you're faced with literally coming forward and being honest and allowing your life to basically crumble, or just hiding and hoping no one finds out, And it's like, I feel like on the flip side, if you're kind of struggling with it and you kind of are forced to wrestle with a lot of these things throughout the years, like if it is something that you choose to come back to, I feel like it's like the conviction is essentially, it's like, it's something you really fought for. So it's like this deep thing within you where, not that you're going to be perfect, but it's like you just approach it with more humility, and you're just like, you're not just trying to put on this front or worry about your reputation. It's like, I'm already been the guy in the pit, in the valley, whatever, reference you want to use.
Or it could be a guy who was like called and then like fought God about it or something, what didn't accept it right away. I think that's also valuable too. I mean, for me, the biggest difference is it's like you can tell immediately from the stage, and it's like it's like condescending and talking down to versus speaking with authority. Like you can speak with authority and not have to be like condescending. There's a lot of pastors that are like speak to the church as if they're children, right? Or like, someone in their teens and it's just like, all right, well, blah, 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 Bible says this, and let me tell you a story about me. And then it's like you can tell when people are genuine. Yeah.
I think there's a big difference between telling people how to behave and what to think versus encouraging people to just connect to source or to creator or to whatever that is, and really trust them to work that stuff out and let it really be like their revelation more so than it's just, trying to get, 10 good clips on a Sunday from a great, passage that you can post on social media and try to grow your following, all this stuff. It's like and maybe it's a good and a bad thing. So it's that like Rorschach test where it's just like, okay, I have no judgment for people who do it both ways, but it's like when I see it being done and there's so much emphasis on like the promotion side and like the building the brand side, it's like, all right, not for me. I respect what you're doing and I understand that end of the day, like you can't get around. I mean, it's a business and they have tax exempt status. So there's a lot of benefits to doing what they do.
I feel like it's like I feel like people just gotten so far away in the Christian church have gotten so far away of like, what would Jesus do? Which simple, very simple. And I forget who like coined that phrase or whatever, but the thing is, it's like
legend.
Yeah. But it's like, it's a thing, like you look at everything in your life, if you're like person in leadership or something like that, like I'd be asking myself all the freaking time, like, would Jesus do this? Would Jesus spend $100,000 on this? Is this something that would be important? Maybe, I guess maybe in today's age he would, who knows? But it's just like that check is something I feel like people aren't doing anymore.
Well, I think it's unfortunate,
but they're happy to tell people in the church to do it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Well, I think part of it too is because of how connected we are with the internet and social media. It's like the Hillsong effect. And, we've all seen kind of the stuff that they're going through now.
Yeah.
But it's like when you put so much of an emphasis on the brand and the global strategy and all this stuff, then you start to like peel back the layers and you're like, oh, dang, this thing was low key rotten at the core. Like I think often you can get sidetracked and you just kind of neglect like the things that are most important and other things become more important. And then the danger with that is, everyone else in that world who's trying to also grow a brand, because the problem is you could be growing it for the best of intentions because you think it's going to help you reach more people and do more good, but then like the challenge is, the average person just like sees that and sees how successful it is. And then instead of like a pastor going straight to God and trying to get like wisdom and revelation for leading like his church, they're just like, oh, dang, this guy's crushing it like this. Let's just like plug and play that model. And it's like, it's not a bad thing that they do it because I know they're doing it from the right place. But like a lot of these bigger churches will like release their sermon series and like the sermon notes and all the media files that go with it for like bumpers and all like the videos like that correlate with the sermon series.
Which I think in the long term is destructive. Like you're basically, and I know pastors, they're mostly new pastors that would just, take that stuff and use it and not rely at all on their own discernment or anything and just be like, well, just copy paste and that's it.
Well, because when I see people do that, they just like
same jokes, like and all. You're just like, it's nauseating.
Yeah. Well, because when I see people do that, I'm just like, why am I even here? I can just watch that other guy online.
Yeah.
If that's really who the pastor is, who's actually doing this, and then at the same time, you're just like,
but no one knows. Usually, small churches, like people just don't know.
Well, and then it's like, how am I supposed to trust you if you don't even trust yourself to like get a word from God because it's like, this world is so big and unique and different. It's like,
I think a lot of it's laziness. I mean, it's just it is a lot of work to come up with stuff from scratch to talk about, you know? So
well, that's why
people just don't want to put the work in.
Like you have guys like a Bill Johnson out at Bethel, or even like Michael at Jesus Image. Like these guys.
Bill's probably like my favorite big church pastor.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because it's just like, he's not like
him or Judah. Yeah,
Judah's good. But like, he's not planning out sermon series like a year out, and he's not doing like, you know, series on giving around the holidays. Like he's not like trying in any way to manipulate people. It's like when I listen to him, you just get I get this feeling that it's like, this dude is just legit. And on a Saturday night, I have no doubt that like, if he felt like he was supposed to go in a different direction, he'd just totally change everything. And he never uses notes. He'll literally start with like a verse, and then he just goes into it and he just unpacks it. And it's a lot of the same with Michael, where you're just like, this dude just lives it. And it's like, he's not stressing throughout the week trying to come up with some catchy slogan or new sermon series that's going to get more people in the doors. Cause it's like, you know, dealing with all the cultural struggles and problems that we're facing, you know, it's to me, it's just like a deeper version of, but then, you know, you look at what it breeds, and I mean, I don't know, it's to each person to judge and experience, but
yeah, no, that's cool. With, I don't know if you ever talked to Rachel about her.
No,
she doesn't want to talk about it.
Nope, it's been so long.
Well, I just wonder, like, if she feels like she got anything valuable from her religious upbringing at all, if she took any of the good parts or anything. She feels like, but
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's not like she like doesn't have any beliefs anymore. We just.
Well, I mean, she seems to have good values, right? Like, you guys aren't like gangbangers, and you know, you're not stealing.
You don't know what I do.
Or whatever.
I don't know what I do outside of this office.
Bro, I keep the mask in my car.
Oh, okay.
In the back seat.
I'll be banging the gangs.
Pegging the homies.
No. She still has her beliefs, but we don't. I mean, obviously, we don't go to church.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, that's cool. We're kind of the end. I wouldn't tell you a story. I was going to tell you over there, but not a story. It's just a whatever thing. But basically, I don't know if I told you this yet, but like, you know, like, well, Cedar Point, like talk about all the time. Like Justin's been there. It's the big roller coaster park. There's a ride called Maverick there. That's like this. It's just like a double launch coaster, similar to Velocicoaster, if you've been on that or heard of it. So that was built in 2007. Originally, there was this like roll element that was supposed to be part of it, that put too much stress on the train and the track. And like the guy wrote it and he was like, yeah, this is not pleasant. So they ended up taking it out and making that part more subtle. But there was this like 100-foot section of track that's like just this roll that just got basically scrapped, but it's just sitting. And I didn't know this because I knew about the original element that's supposed to be in it, but it's like Adina, which is a construction company that builds roller coasters, is based out of Mansfield, Ohio. And this like random track piece of like, I mean, a lot of people's like favorite ride in the world is like sitting just in their weeds in the back of their property. And so like,
get it.
And yes, I want to. So a bunch of enthusiasts will go sneak on the property, take pictures and stuff and post them and all that.
Yeah.
I'm just
How
like,
heavy you think it is?
Lots of heavy. I don't know, but it's 100-foot long piece of like roller coaster track.
Yeah, we ain't getting it.
Like like AC 130. You drop in there with like military.
The thing is though, like you would need like one of those
support.
like wide, like those multi-part trailers that they use to transport like, you know, those windmill blades and stuff probably. But like, it's how cool. I was talking to Nathan. I was like, well, we have an Optimus. Like how cool would it be just to have like a 100-foot piece of roller coaster history, like going the length of our building, like inside.
That'd be epic.
Freaking crazy.
I can't imagine how much that would cost.
Just to get it down here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts.
You'd have to literally like build the building around it.
No. I mean,
apart.
I mean, we'd have some roll up doors. No, you could get in. It's transporting it. How would you do that?
Yeah, I know nothing.
Because it's 100 feet's only about the length of, well, it's not quite the depth of this building. So
that'd be gnarly.
It's pretty long, but it's just like, I don't know.
It would be wild.
So if anyone has any ideas or knows anyone who knows how to ship like a wide load or like an oversized load, I mean, it's not wide, it's oversized.
Oh, we know how to ship a wide load.
Oh boy. Do we? Anyway, I just thought it was a cool story. It's literally 5 minutes from where I grew up.
That's crazy.
I'm definitely going there when I get back. I'm
Just looking
trespassing
at
the
it?
crap out of that property. Yeah.
Oh,
just
it's
like-
trespassing. So, but people do it a lot.
So did they buy it or like?
No, they manufactured the roller coaster. So,
So
they had to
returned it.
take the piece out and replace it with something else, but it's like they just had that piece. So it's like sitting behind, like someone on Google Earth randomly found it. I mean, someone must have just done the research on it because they built like
That's crazy.
Maverick, they built Gatekeeper, they built some other ones for
It's funny to
Intamin.
think that they
They've
would-
done. They did.
No one knows the name of roller coasters like you do, JJ.
Thank you.
Super fans do.
Yeah,
But,
they built. What is it?
I'm
Cheetah
saying
Hunt
all these names.
over in Busch Gardens, Tampa. You guys need to get out more to these parks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the Cedar Point
Hip.
ones, but
I'm poor.
Roller coasters be fun. Well, what's cool is like, SeaWorld does like that fun card. It's like $100. You go a whole year, right? Like you
Yeah,
just need to
that's
go with
SeaWorld.
someone with a SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. If you got like a combo pass, like that'd be fairly affordable. And it's like, I mean, they have good roller coasters.
You can get a combo pass of SeaWorld and Busch Gardens.
I think you can get it through SeaWorld, not through Busch Gardens, but Busch Gardens owns both.
Do they have a SeaWorld over in Tampa or like where
There's
Busch
this-
Gardens is?
No.
Is it Winter Haven or is it Tampa? It's Tampa.
SeaWorld is right off of I-4.
No, yeah.
here.
Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens in Tampa.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the ghetto. Really weird place for a park. But you go in, it's a whatever. Like,
No, I like Busch Gardens.
I like Busch Gardens too. We need to go there. How long you been since you've been there? So you haven't rode Gwazi or any of that?
It's probably been like 3 years.
So you haven't rode Iron Gwazi?
No, I think they were working on that last time we were there.
So did you ride Cheetah Hunt?
Maybe.
The
Like
green-
I said, I
the
don't
green
remember
one?
what the roller coaster.
It's
The only roller
green.
coaster
It's a-
I know the name of is the Sheikra one.
Okay, that one's good too. That's the dive coaster.
Green roller coaster Cheetah Hunt.
It's green with yellow supports. Huh? What do you mean? I don't always color them based on the theme. The colors pop. It's a
Called
good
Cheetah Hunt because it goes really
it's
fast.
a good looking roller coaster.
we will.
But I like the one called Montu. Montu is the inverted one.
That one sounds familiar, actually.
That one's the like yellow and blue one. It's inverted, like you're under the track. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
a fantastic one. Cedar Point has an inverted one called the Raptor. I really like, but Montu is like
sick.
cool because there's a bunch of near misses and stuff. Like it's pretty neat.
I had to go back with my contacts. I've never been to I've never been on roller coasters without my glasses, and it's.
I thought you meant contacts like my peeps.
Oh,
I need to go back with my
That's
contacts.
the new slang. I'm gonna have to take my contacts downtown. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have to just hold the glasses on?
Yeah, I'm
I
like
wouldn't
sitting here
even
like this.
wanna,
I'm like,
They'll fall off.
yeah,
Well, they
Body's
have
just,
those.
like,
they
whipping
only have
around
the
'cause you're
straps
not
that you
holding
can
on.
do, like tie them back your
can,
head.
but
Look
TJ, like
goofy.
I'm already gay, bro. Like I'm not trying to catch any more attention.
You go Rex specs. You get those sweet.
I feel like you could hide it under your hair though. Like you just put it back and just throw your hair over it. No one would even know.
Maybe, but I have contacts now, so
That's great.
put my contacts in.
We need to go.
Go
I
out
need to
with the
go.
contacts.
We need to go to a roller coaster park so bad.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm about it.
I think SeaWorld Busch Gardens is a good starter. And then we can
I think
start
Busch Gardens.
doing the
We should
trips.
just
And
go
then
on
we
Busch
could go to
Gardens.
Carowinds in Charlotte. And then we could go to Kings Island, Cincinnati. And then we go to Cedar Point. And then
Did you see
Virginia,
that video of
Virginia
the
has
one?
some.
Where like the pillar, like they had a video of the people like going around the corner. And when they went around the corner, like the pillar, like it broke off. Did you see that
So
video?
that was Fury 325. That's in
I hate him.
That's in
I
Carowinds.
hate him so much.
What?
Not surprised.
Did you like when you saw the video? Did you already know what roller coaster it was, or you looked it up?
Yeah, because it was on the title.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
I
well.
I would recognize it. There's a lot I can recognize. But like that's
not the name.
so that's an over 300-foot coaster that goes over 90 miles. It's a very
That was terrifying. That video of,
yeah,
of it. Oh,
That'd be
nope.
crazy.
but it is like things are over engineered though, so it's like it could break, it could shear off, and
But the other supports that are locked
people
in.
like they'd catch it before like another train, like
Yeah.
it would be okay. But yeah, it's freaky. It's kind of
that's
crazy. There is one I need to show you. Well, we'll get off air here. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you hopefully next week. Later.